Boca Grande Key off of Key West. It's about, I'd say, maybe 12 miles off of Key West. Winds are about 15 miles per hour. I am on trap watch, and I may have to avoid one up here. Let's see, autopilot may do a good job of keeping us off of it. Yeah, probably in about 20 feet of water. So these lobster traps are everywhere. They're a little annoying. I want to enjoy the autopilot. This is our first time using the autopilot with the new heading sensor and GPS, and really our first time using it, period. When we crossed Lake Okeechobee, Corey used the autopilot for a little while when he was on the helm, but this is our first time using it, and I gotta say I'm enjoying it, but we gotta stay on our toes with these traps. Tiff's got the helm while I'm eating.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Because you literally can't take your eyes. You can't look down for a single second. With the white caps, you know it's harder to see these traps, so you really have to keep your eyes on the water in front of you and around you at all times.
And just when you get comfy, you get a boat in your way.
Well, we made it. We chugged along at about 9 knots or so, and it took us, I'd say, just under 2 hours to get here. We took our time, had a nice, easy voyage, and here we are.
We made it. Our neighbor is getting ready to paint their. It's a little bit of a mess. 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 It's a little b know it's good, but
Just takes some getting used to, I guess. I feel like I should put the drone in the air. So all the day boats that were beached at the Boca Grande Key beach are now officially gone. We just have one sailboat friend who seems as if they're going to be staying the night. So other than that, it's just us out here.
you were doing just fine right here.
Much better. So as you probably remember, this is where we tried to come in the last video, but we weren't able to get out here. It was a little rougher than we anticipated. So we planned on coming out here yesterday afternoon. We got to the boat, got ready to fire it up, and the starboard engine would not start. So we noticed that it seemed as if it was battery related, but the battery was brand new, and pretty much everything in the line is as well. The alternator, the wiring is less than a year old, so I was pretty stumped, but I
Blah 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 blah.
This problem dragged on for another 6 weeks, and we covered it well, so we'll explain it in detail in a separate technical video. This afternoon at about 11:30, so we
11:30 was my cutoff time because today is my birthday, and I was like, you know what, I'll give us half a day to try to fix the engines and save our trip that we wanted to do. But if it doesn't work, the other half we'll just jump in the dinghy and go somewhere local, and at least, you know, spend a birthday not being in the engine room and worrying about boat problems. So right at 11:30, the engine's fired up, and it was glorious.
we got out of there, and it was a nice calm trip out, aside from all the lobster traps.
Oh my gosh, so many
The
lobster.
minefield the entire time, and we would set a course on the autopilot, and we just couldn't hold it. We couldn't hold it for more. I think that the max we may have had was probably somewhere under 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But we're here. It's beautiful. We're happy. Tell them how happy you are. Say, I'm happy. Need to get more sentiment, or wait, I'm not talking to you. You guys get out of here. Well, we officially made it through the night. Our first night ever sleeping out on anchor. And you know, we pretty much stayed in place the entire time. I had the Navionics on my phone just to show me the track. Every time we woke up, we could look at it. How was your first night on anchor?
It was about as expected. I knew I wasn't gonna sleep very well because I'm the worrier. I'm the where we at, what we're doing. But we kept the Navionics up so that we could see it, so I could just poke up and see that we were still in our yellow blob of trail. So it was okay. I mean, it didn't sound-wise and noise-wise and all of that. It wasn't any. We've had rougher nights in the mooring field, so it wasn't rough at all. It was just my mind making sure we were still anchored.
We had steady winds out of the north. They were about 15 miles per hour. They might have died off a little bit in the middle of the night. But yeah, we've read about this anchorage that no matter what, you're pretty much going to be into the current. But I'm assuming that, you know, for a big old power boat like us with shallow draft, that may not be the case, because we are very susceptible to the wind with how tall we are, and we're also susceptible to the current with our shallow draft, which is why we were having that standoff a little bit earlier. But like, no big deal, just something to keep in mind whenever we are reading reviews about anchorages. We just need to know how our boat moves, and this is a really, really good test. And having, you know, trails on multiple electronics just to refer back to really helps us when deciding where to anchor at and making sure that we have enough room for the massive amount of swing that we have. I see why sailors don't like power boats in the anchorage now, just from looking at how much we swing compared to the sailboat behind us that has really had that same angle for, you know, all throughout the night. So, noted.
Is that the Dry Tortuga ferry?
Yeah, that's the Yankee Freedom heading out. I saw them.
Our day boaters are coming.
Yeah, the day boaters are heading in. I think we didn't have our first one until about a little after 8 a.m. But you know, they're here with force now. She's at it again. Look at these big biscuits. That's only half. That's just 1.5 biscuits. We've got the other half tucked away somewhere. The other half of that guy. She is good.
I didn't make this. This is Fireflies, which is way better than my biscuits and gravy.
Her biscuits and gravy is pretty good, but you know, Firefly, we've gone far and wide for several years now to eat us Firefly.
Yeah.
And when we go far and wide on a boat, we bring Firefly with us.
This is true. So you remember in another video where we talked about having the old hose trapped under our anchor chain, but now that we have enough chain out, how much do we have, like 80 feet out?
Yeah, we got a little over 80 feet.
We were able to free the old hose that was trapped under the anchor chain with a little help of cutting. That's the end of it. The help of turbo, of course.
There she goes. She's out. She even rinsed it a little bit on her way out.
She even had some water stored up in it.
You might have guessed it, but as we were preparing to leave, we discovered that our starboard engine would not start. Despite our best efforts, we couldn't get it running while we were out here, so to prevent arriving back in Key West after dark, we decided to make the trip back on one engine. We've never had to operate the boat on one engine for this long, but we did appreciate the autopilot holding us on course when we used it. Just like the trip out, it was beautifully uneventful, minus the traps. If you haven't noticed, we're coming up on the tail end of 1,000 subscribers. So if you're still watching this, if you could do us a favor and hit that thumbs up button, it really helps us out.
And when we reach 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away some of these bad boys.
And we're also going to start a new segment where we give and get tips and insight to fellow liveaboard cruisers and those thinking about it. So if you have some questions or think of some topics you may want to be covered, or you know of some boat hacks, some products or process to make life easier out here in the water, let us know in the comments below. We'll check it out, we'll respond, and we'll begin working on getting some of those out. And if you want to follow along with that or our regular sensationalized storyline, then we invite you to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And that's all we got, unless you want to talk about autopilot some more. Well, we need to wrap this up. So as always, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.